Rugby World Rankings, folks, at the conclusion of the Rugby World Cup. Which teams finished up? Which teams finished down? I'm going to go over them, painful as it may be, to go over the World Rankings at the end of the tournament, and you guys can let us know your thoughts, and we'll talk about some of the upcoming rugby fixtures as well. South Africa obviously finish higher than they started. They came into the tournament second. They finished first. Which is always the case when you win a World Cup. You're going to be number one side in the world. And I would imagine they are probably going to be number one in the world until they next play. And if they keep winning games for even longer. Because they're on 94.54. Ireland is still pretty much a full 4 points behind them. Remember, you get double the points during the World Cup game. So it's going to be hard during the Six Nations for teams to take enough points to pass South Africa. I haven't done the maths to check it out, but like Ireland is not going to be taking any points off Italy. They're not going to be taking any. Well, they would just barely take some points off Wales. I'm not sure if it's home and away. Yeah, there's a lot of sides they're not going to take a lot of points off. Same with France because of how high they are with those gaps. But yeah, ultimately, I think South Africa world champions for the next 4 years and number one in the world for likely a very extended period. Ireland dropped from first to second with that quarterfinal exit. Usually, the second place side, world rankings-wise, is the bronze medal winner. Because, as I said, you get double the points for winning during a World Cup. But it also means you lose double the points for losing at a World Cup. So, New Zealand, having lost the final, lost more points than they normally would. And the team which finishes with that last World Cup win, which is not the finalist, so the bronze finalist, usually finishes second. But England started so low, they weren't able to kind of get that high. So England earned fifth, one of the biggest gainers, up from eighth. Ireland second, like I mentioned. And maybe that's fair, because Ireland is still a bloody good side. That game was a legit flip of a coin against the All Blacks. All Blacks finished third, having dropped their final. It cut them a bunch of points, but their overall points total is actually pretty similar to when they went into the World Cup, and they started the World Cup fourth. They finished third. France started third, finished fourth. They'll certainly be disappointed given it was a home World Cup. England, like I mentioned, one of the biggest gainers. Scotland down from fifth into sixth. It was a tough pull for the bloody Scots, wasn't it? But yeah, they can look to the next one. I hope the draw treats them a bit kinder. Argentina started sixth, finished seventh. So despite the fact they were one of the top four sides of the tournament, they finished well outside the top four teams just based on world rankings. Wales, another one of the big gainers, up from 10th. They finish in 8th with that quarterfinal exit. And then Australia. Drama's going on in Australia right now with Eddie Jones apparently leaving. But they didn't change positions in World Rugby Rankings. They did lose some points. This total is lower than what it was pre-tournament. But they went into the tournament 9th. They come out of the tournament 9th. Fiji dropped like a stone, mainly because they lost to Portugal. You know, you lose points you lose more points basically if the gap between you and the side you lost to is really big. So the gap between Fiji and Portugal was huge. So Fiji lost like a full 4 points with that loss to Portugal, and then they finished the tournament on a loss as well. So yeah, they dropped from 7th all the way down to 10th. On the other side of the board, Italy finished up, Japan finished up, Portugal, one of the biggest gainers, and certainly one of the best stories of that World Cup, I would say. They finished all the way up in 13th, above their European Championship rival Georgia, who were disappointing at the World Cup, who were down to 14th. Samoa's down, Tonga's down. Remember, Samoa needed to beat Japan probably to be a bit up, but they lost. Tonga, I think, did get some points from Romania, but yeah, not a heck of a lot. Uruguay, no change. USA and Spain didn't play, so their points total didn't change, but Romania did drop below Spain, so Spain ended up going up a spot. So yeah, below those teams on the board, Namibia 21st and Chile 22nd. Namibia did lose a little bit of pointage to Uruguay in their World Cup pool stage game, and Chile no change despite being at their first ever World Cup. So yeah, man, that's the world rankings. How fair or not do you think it is? It's still those same 4 teams at the top. As I mentioned, England is one of the biggest gainers. Portugal is one of the biggest gainers. Wales gained, but these sides kind of largely just shuffled around. Top 4, still those 4. Be interesting to see once we see what the new squads are going to be like for the Six Nations, which is starting in February, how strong these sides are looking, because there's going to be a few retirements in many of the sides. But yeah, February's a wee way away. So we are without men's internationals at that kind of top level for quite some time. There is one more week of the women's internationals to be going. I've not really been following it because it was on at the same time as the men's Rugby World Cup. But I know there's a rematch of the women's final from last year between New Zealand and England coming up, which is probably going to be a pretty good game. Australia's playing Wales. France is playing Canada. Also, I should say a big congratulations to Ms. Spoon, who topped the 2 Cents Rugby World Cup Super Brew pool, a South African fan. So that's kind of fitting that a South African won the Super Brew pool. I finished outside of the top 100 because I picked the All Blacks to win in the final. So there you go. I was in the top 100. Right until that last round. Also, if you want to see two miserable Kiwis talking about the World Cup final on the day of the World Cup final, Tony from Distracted Sports and I recorded the penultimate episode of 2 Cents Gets Distracted for this year. I will chuck a link up there. Apologies if it's a bit flat, because we weren't feeling that jovial. But if you want to see Tony's tears, figurative, not literal, 2 Cents Gets Distracted. I'll put a thing there. I'll put it down there. But that's it. World Rankings. You guys listening, thoughts on how fair or not they are? Congratulations, South Africa, once again. I will go polish off the rest of that bottle of Clippies. Take care. See you later.